All right. Thank you everyone for joining us today. This webinar is being presented by SCORE Southeast New Jersey, and our topic today is the one-page marketing plan. Just before we get started, just a little bit about SCORE. SCORE is a registered 501c3 nonprofit corporation. We were founded in 1964. Right now we have more than 11,000 volunteer mentors with experience in just about every industry, and we're organized into chapters like Southeast New Jersey, and we have more than 250 chapters nationwide. In the last, since we've been in existence, we've assisted more than 11 million entrepreneurs in starting and growing their businesses. And last year, we started 30,453 new businesses and created 112,000 jobs. We are SCORE Southeast New Jersey, and we service clients from Point Pleasant to Cape May. The services that we provide are mentoring. We provide webinars and courses on demand. We have a library of online resources, which I will share a link to shortly. And we also do local events, seminars, and workshops. All of that is no charge. Some resources for small businesses. We have the SCORE website, score.org/Southeast New Jersey. You can also find a mentor, and mentors are free, as we mentioned. We have the SCORE website, and we have our YouTube channel, and we do record all of these webinars and post them on our YouTube channel and also on our website. The Southeast New Jersey chapter is a little bit unique. We have our own radio program, and that is hosted by one of our mentors, Michael Pappas. That happens every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. on WBNJ, which is educational radio in Ocean County, New Jersey. And then there's a rebroadcast Sundays at 7 a.m. There's also a history of programs that are on the WBNJ website, and I also post those as podcasts on our website. So again, today's topic is the one-page marketing plan. And today's presenter is Peter Bemko. Peter is a SCORE mentor, and he's the social chair for our chapter. And Peter is also a marketing strategist with WSI, a global digital marketing agency. He has over 30 years experience, excuse me, in technology and business management, working with financial firms. So Peter, I will turn it over to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Tony. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So let's get the slideshow started so that I can get on the right screen and get going.
Okay, well, actually, while Peter is doing that, I just want to mention one more time. We do have quite a number of people here today on the webinar. So if you have, I'll be monitoring the chat window. So if you have questions as the presentation goes on, please put them in the chat and we'll take it from there.
Absolutely, Tony. I appreciate it. And it's interesting that you said you're taking some of the older radio programs and putting them up as podcasts. I think that's great because Mike Pappas has been doing a really great job for a number of years talking about topics that any small business or any business could really use for in order to improve and grow and get better. So thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to just push through a couple of these first slides. I wanted to make sure that we've got all the information. Tony's covered a lot around SCORE and what we do. I'm really glad that I joined SCORE a number of years ago. I think one of the jokes that our previous chairperson said was that we are the longest chapter in New Jersey because of we cover almost 100 miles from the tip of Ocean County all the way down to the tip of Cape May. So really an interesting place to be right now. There's some different resources that we've got, and this is our 10th webinar in our series. We've been doing these webinars all year long. They have covered competitive analysis, defining your ideal client, website optimization, just to name a few. You can find them on score.org or on our YouTube channel. So please take a look. There's lots of great information. I've also included as a slide at the very end of this presentation, a series of links. And Tony will be sending a copy of the presentation to you guys once we're done within a day or so. So look forward to you guys checking that stuff out. Tony's already done my introduction, but before we kind of go on, let's see who's here, right? Want to make sure that, you know, is this for you, right? Let's make sure that we kind of tailor this or look through it. So if you could give me a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4 inside the chat, right? I'd like to get a sense for who's in our audience, right? Because this is the type of information that is of benefit to everybody. Okay. If you're there's how many we got? Oh, perfect. Thank you all.
Oh.
Awesome. Awesome.
We have a lot of small business owners. We have freelancers and consultants. We have a 1 and a 2.
Well,
Hey,
that's
somebody
good.
with my initials. There's an imposter. No, I'm only kidding.
So, you know, this is great. I'm glad we've got this great mix of people who are doing stuff, who are looking to expand their knowledge. You know, as startup founders and entrepreneurs, right? You may be building a business with limited resources. This session's going to talk about how to, you know, create an effective marketing strategy that's kind of straightforward, it's affordable, it's going to help you do some growth in an efficient manner. Okay. If you're a marketing professional, whether you're a veteran or brand new to the field, it's going to help you kind of refine some of your skills and hopefully give you a little bit of that, I didn't think of it that way perspective, right? If you're a freelancer or a consultant, right, this may help you create a tailored message for your marketing so that you can improve that. And even if you're a mid-level manager for a larger corporation, you can help your team to improve what they're doing within that large corporate structure. So some of the topics we're going to cover today, right? I found this book extremely interesting. It's one of the things that drew me to it was its simplicity. Okay. Let's face it, marketing can be a headache, right? There's jargon, there's all sorts of things. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking technology again. I spent 30 years in networking and various aspects of application development. So those acronyms and things like that we use, those are kind of tough to remember and make sure. There's so much to take in. And sometimes you just like, where do you start? Especially if you're just launching or you're trying to grow. So what we're going to try to do here is kind of break down those intimidating things of marketing and put them into some straightforward or doable steps. We want to make it useful for you and your business. It might not be easy, but most things that are easy sometimes aren't worthwhile. So let's get into the details of what makes marketing actually work, right? It's important to get these basics before we move into a deeper level, right? We'll talk about how to make your marketing chat stand out, right? Look at some of the common traps, things to avoid, the pitfalls, right? And those are always good things to keep in mind, right? And then we'll get into the heart of the plan, right? We want to take all that chaos and bring it into one neat and manageable package, and then create that plan for yourself. So as Tony mentioned, if you have questions, please feel free to put them into the chat, right? Not a problem, right? I'd rather address it right away than waiting until the end, because if you're like me, if you didn't write it down, you've forgotten it already. So let's ask that question. Is this really a revolutionary approach? Well, let's go through it and see what it is, and you can make that decision for yourself. All right, for me, it helped create a blueprint for successfully marketing small businesses. And at its heart, again, it simplifies the entire marketing process into something that is both manageable and effective, just a single page. Now, if you guys haven't kind of looked at this book before or haven't heard of it, then you can go to successwise.com and take a look at what Allan Dib's been doing. He wrote this book in 2018 and has been on various podcasts and various YouTube channels. You can find out more about that by looking him up. So the book itself is divided into 3 distinct phases: the before, the during, and the after. And each of these phases targets a specific stage in that customer journey. The before focuses on attracting prospects or letting them get to know you so they can indicate whether they're interested or not. There's the during phase, which focuses on converting those prospects into customers or getting them to like you so that they buy from you for that first time. And the after, it focuses on delivering a world-class experience to your customers to turn them into raving fans. You're getting them to trust you to buy from you regularly and to refer new business. And this structure aligns perfectly with the journey that every business owner needs to understand to leverage in order to succeed. There's also some practical strategies rather than just theoretical concepts. And it's crucial for us as entrepreneurs because it means we can start applying the lessons directly to our businesses. And it doesn't matter how big or how small they are. Within each of the chapters, you're going to find some clear guidance. You're going to find case studies and examples that you can relate to and you can implement in your business. Now, I'm not going into every single chapter. I'm not going to really dig into all of that stuff because that would just be way longer. So this is going to be, again, a high level, how does this work? What's going on with this? So that if you're looking to get some additional information, you can follow up with that. Sorry, I hitting the wrong button. Okay, all right. Okay, so why does marketing planning matter, right? It's vital for every business. So think of your marketing plan as your blueprint for your business growth. It's not just about products and services. It's about telling the story of your brand's values. You're forging connections with customers, and you're establishing a territory, your territory in the marketplace. So without this blueprint, even the best offers, they'll just get lost because you're marketing or you're screaming through a megaphone at everybody instead of just the people who you actually want to talk to. There's a story in the book that talks about a local bakery that defined its niche in doing organic homemade bread. And by focusing on that niche, it helped them stand out and attract health-conscious customers. Additionally, we've got to have targeted and effective communication. It's like having the right conversation in the right language at the right volume in just the right time. Your marketing plan is the script for that conversation. It's making sure that what you say hits home with those who are listening. And the other piece to look at this is money and resources. They're both limited. A well thought out marketing plan is like a financial advisor, telling you where to invest, where to cut back, to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck. It'll help you do things like reallocating funds from underperforming ads into a higher converting channel. Now that's really strategic planning in action. And of course, you can't improve what you don't measure. Marketing planning is like a performance coach. It'll help you set your goals or key performance indicators, and it'll help you keep on track with that. Finally, it'll tie everything together to your ultimate business objectives. And that's all that we really want to do, right? We're not looking this for be just a checklist, but we really want this to be more like our GPS or our map for our business journey. It's going to guide our communications. It's going to allow us to invest wisely in where we can get the best ROI. It'll help us track and our progress as we go along. So again, it'll help us keep part of that big picture goal. There's a great definition of marketing within the book that I really like to relate about. I actually use it as part of my BNI 30-second pitch. If the circus is coming to town and you paint a sign saying circus coming to the showground on Saturday, that's advertising. If you put the sign on the back of an elephant and walk it into town, that's promotion. If the elephant walks through the mayor's flower bed and the local newspaper writes a story about it, that's publicity. And if you get the mayor to laugh about it, that's public relations. If the town citizens go to the circus, you show them all the entertainment booths that you've got there, explain to them how much fun they're going to have spending money at those booths. You answer all of their questions, and ultimately they spend their money at the circus. That's sales. And if you planned the whole thing, that's marketing. Marketing is the strategy that you use for getting your ideal target market to know you, to like you, and trust you enough to become a customer. All those things that we normally associate with marketing. I need a Facebook ad. I need a radio spot. I need something like that. They're all tactics. So there'll be a later definition of strategy and tactics, but this is something to keep in mind. So let's dive into the heart of the one-page marketing plan. When I first read this, I was like, can marketing really be squeezed into just one page? It can, it's possible, and it can be incredibly effective. Think about it this way. Picture this. You're trying to assemble a huge, complicated piece of furniture. We've all kind of gotten something from IKEA or offered something from any number of other stores that come flat-packed box, right? But the manual that's come with it is like a pulp fiction novel. It's huge. You're turning pages. I find this with my grandson's Legos. There's a constant, okay, which page are we on and which part are we trying to put together? It seems it's overwhelming. Now, the one-page marketing plan is like getting a simple step-by-step guide. It distills the complex marketing strategy into something that's easy to grasp and to use. You don't feel like you're getting lost in the details or getting swamped by marketing jargon. And the beauty is that it's simple. It's clear. It's like having a bird's eye view of your strategy on one page. And the best part, it's adaptable. Whether you're running a small home-based business or dreaming of a multinational empire, the one-page marketing plan can scale to fit your needs. So now let's talk about that strategy versus tactics for a quick minute. Strategies are that big picture, that planning that you do prior to tactics. So imagine you bought a piece of land where you want to build a house. Would you just order a pile of bricks, some lumber, start laying them out in some haphazard fashion, hoping that you got a house at the end of it all? Do you think you would get something else instead? Now think about a different opportunity. How else would you do that? Well, you'd hire a builder. You'd hire an architect. They would start to plan for you. They would plan out everything, like getting all the building permits, all the way down to what colors you want in your kitchen or the tiles on your backsplash in your bathroom. Everything would be done right prior to doing anything on the land, period. That's strategy. And once you have that strategy, you'll know how many bricks you're going to need, how much lumber you need, and where everything's going to go. Then you can hire your plumber, your carpenter, your carpet installer, your tile installer. Those are all the tactics. So in order to do something successfully, you need both the strategy and the tactics, and your strategy will dictate those tactics. So now let's turn to kind of the 3 phases of the one-page marketing plan. First one is about before. You're attracting your prospects. This is like setting the stage before a big show. It's all about getting those potential customers interested in what you've got to offer. You are letting your prospects get to know you and letting them indicate an interest for your products and your services. So your first thing to really do is to identify and to understand your target market. And it's important to not just know who your customers are, but to really get them. You want to understand their needs, their problems, and how your product or service can be the solution that they're looking for. Ask yourself some questions about them. So here's some examples. What are they afraid of? What magazines do they read? What are they angry about? Or who are they angry with? What's their daily life like? Are they a working mom or dad? Are they a single person and they love to travel? What kind of car do they drive? That'll have an effect on all of those things. Your next step in this is crafting a message to that target market. So now that you know kind of something about them, you want your message to be created in such a way that you'll be able to have it resonate with your audience. It'll hit home with them. There's an example in the book that talks about a company that sells drills. Well, do the customers of the company really want drills, or do they want the hole it makes, that drill makes? Because they're putting up a shelf, and that's what you're really selling. You're selling the shelf, but the drill helps you get there. It becomes your tool. Your last piece in this is looking at the right media or way to communicate with those folks. This is where you choose where and how to spread your message. And it's not just being out there, because you could do all sorts of different ways to get out there. It's about choosing the right place. Your target market may hang out on Instagram if they travel a lot, as in the previous example, or they may be reading magazines that are very specific to a hobby that they have. Perhaps they're a hiking enthusiast and use Outdoor Magazine in order to understand what's going on in that hiking community and the best places to hike and things of that nature. You want to create a message that is crafted in a way that's immediately understandable as it's impactful with your audience. Think of it like the sound bites that we live in today. Getting that message out to them could be radio, it could be direct mail, it could be social media, email marketing. No matter which of those you choose initially, make sure to choose not just one, because that's a recipe for disaster. Just putting your eggs in all of that one basket. Choose a couple different ways to communicate to folks. There's lots of podcasts, there's lots of information out there on the ability to syndicate your content. So for example, you do a post on Facebook and you can do a similar post on LinkedIn, or you can also put that onto your blog on your website, right? This is all about laying the groundwork. You're understanding your target market, you're creating a message that resonates with them, and you're choosing the right channels, which means you're setting up yourself up for success. So now let's move into phase 2. We're going to turn our prospects into customers. Now, this is where the real magic happens. We're dealing with the leads, and the leads are the people who know you and have indicated that they've got an interest in what you have to offer because they responded. Now, in this sense, you're going to capture those leads in a database. Now, a database can be any number of different things. It can be a spreadsheet. It can be a formal application like HubSpot, Pipedrive, name your poison of how you do it. But you want to have something that captures them. Okay. So one thing to kind of keep in mind is that statistics show, the reason why we want to keep them in this database is that statistics have shown that at any given time, the people you're going to meet or you're going to come into contact with, only 3% of those people are highly motivated and ready to buy. There's also an additional 7% who are open to buying, but need some additional information, okay? But then there are another 30% who are interested in buying, but not quite ready at this exact time for whatever circumstances, and they just need a little bit more time. That's where nurturing comes in, okay? Nurturing, okay, is part of building the relationship with your leads. You're not really selling, you're showing them that you understand what they need and that you have the solutions. I recall a story about a real estate agent that was using a series of emails or postcards to build trust with people that she met at open houses and other events. By the time she actually made her sales pitch to someone who was interested in either buying or selling a house, they were already convinced of her expertise. So that real estate agent was actually using their marketing like a farmer, taking the time to keep her name in front of people that she's met. She's establishing credibility, establishing trust, so that they'll call her when they're ready to participate. Now, conversion is the last piece of that. So what's that strategy? What are you going to do to help from a conversion perspective? So this is that turning those nurtured leads into paying customers. And that's the goal that we as business people all have. There's a couple of ways that you could do this. You could create some guarantees. In the book, Allan Dib talks about outrageous guarantees, because like everybody says, satisfaction guaranteed, et cetera, but your guarantee could be very specific. You could address certain fees that would be, you could address certain fears and uncertainty that prospect has about your transactions. For example, you're a pest control business. You can offer a double your money back guarantee and refund if the pest comes back, or you can say, we come back until they're gone. Not a lot of people do that in writing. I've personally seen that. There's other ways to do it. There's other ways to do it, which is a try before you buy issue. I don't know if anybody's come through and said, and give me a 1 or a 2. A 1 if you've gone to a car dealership and started to look around, and the car dealer said, hey, you're interested in this model? Why don't you take it home for the night? Drive it around, put your family inside of it, See if it fits your lifestyle. I've had this happen to me twice, and one time actually did purchase the car because it felt right. It gave me that feeling of, yep, this is something that I could use, and it happened to fit my lifestyle for that particular moment in time. So these are different ways that you can help move that conversions along. Right? There's also examples of you could use it for a gym, right? A gym could offer a free trial for a week, right? This will showcase that gym's facility and give people a taste of the benefits of joining. So in this phase, we're focusing on the journey of our customers. We're capturing the leads. We're going to provide them something valuable, like a piece of content, and then we're going to help them close by conversions. Okay, so I've got a question came in, an example of guarantees for service-oriented consultants. Okay, it would depend on the service, obviously. So, you know, I mentioned a pest company is a service-oriented business. So that could be one way of saying we come back for as long as the problem exists. Or again, you're looking at that results oriented, thinking in terms of what is it that your prospective customer fears? What uncertainty do they have? We all have that uncertainty of when we meet a new business, we start working with them, of will they be able to perform? Because there are no guarantees. So same question for a bookstore. Okay, so for a bookstore, what kind of a guarantee? I guess I'd need a little bit more, because in a bookstore, you're self-choosing, right? So each person goes in and they're going for a genre of book or a type of book, and they're actually self-choosing that book. If you wanted to kind of add something on to say, if you didn't like the book and we can help you that way, you could go in and say within the first week or within reading the book, you don't like something about it, we will give you a credit for a different book. That would be one way to create a guarantee. I don't think I've ever seen a store that goes like that. Okay. Wow, love these questions. This is great. So the question that comes up is, an e-commerce women's boutique that offers versatile clothing for the modern day women on the go. Guarantee. So I think we would need to dig into your business a little bit more on how that guarantee would work, because these are, there's some specifics that we want to know about the business. So, and okay, we've just gotten another one about a healthcare agency. So think about what your customers are afraid of. What if you don't provide the service, what happens? What's going to happen? In the garment example, you could think of it, the garment is poor quality and it rips or something like that. How would you manage that? Would you give them a credit? Would you give them a replacement? Things of that nature. Would you double their money back and such? Those are all options to do that. So I'm going to just continue on for a minute. I definitely, the last one I could come back to is the real estate example. Somebody asked me to talk about the lead nurturing for real estate. I'll come back to that one so that I can get through this. Let's go into phase 3. We're going to look to deliver a world-class customer experience. This is where you're turning your customers into fans, and your fans become ambassadors to your brand. The goal of this phase is to get your customers to trust you and to buy more from you. It creates this virtual cycle where you depend on your relationships with your customers, you do more business with them, and then you get more referrals from them. You're delivering exceptional value. So it's not just about meeting those expectations. And this goes into that crazy guarantee at the conversion level. Okay. You're not meeting expectations, you're exceeding them, right? You're selling the customer what they want, but giving them what they need. So for example, you may have a customer who buys your product or the service and they start to do some stuff with it, but they don't really get the results you said they were going to get. Well, you may need to go above and beyond and hold their hand. And, I've been the recipient of hand holding quite a lot, where I've called somebody and said, specifically was looking at a website and saying, okay, I cannot find what you're talking about, and had a customer service rep walk me through screen by screen. Here's where you want to go. Let me do it with you. That's customer service above and beyond. Completely different from go to our FAQ and you'll find the information there. So that company created a fan of me. I'll talk about them all the time as far as that goes, right? That's the kind of experience that gets people coming back for more, right? Another example like that would be a coffee shop where you're getting personalized experience. It's probably why Dunkin' Donuts now and Starbucks write your name on it, because now it's a personalized experience. But you could up that by giving them a little snack. I used to go to a coffee shop in New York City where with each coffee, you would get a piece of chocolate. Now, their business was coffee and chocolate. So inevitably, you'd walk out with that piece of chocolate, but then coming back, you'd buy more of it because you were being treated well. Now let's talk about increasing that customer lifetime value, right? That's a long game. That's going to take a little while, but it's worth it in the end. This is not about just creating a one-time purchase. It's about creating that long-lasting relationship. And this is where your money gets made. Your one-off transactions, that's just getting you started. There are many ways that you can do this, and an upsell is familiar to all of us. How many people, give me a one, you want fries with that? How about a shake? How about this? Those upsell suggestions provide an easy way to get additional profits on things that you've already sold to that client. You could use coupons for discounts and to remind people of products that you also sell, which are complementary to what they already purchased from you. And there's always the subscription model. How many times, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, I can't imagine you're not, Dollar Shave Club. They created a subscription model for something that was, utilitarian, okay? A lot of men and ladies have these razors. The razors were cheap and you throw them away, but now let's get you on the subscription model. And oh, by the way, we have this great shave cream that will be for your sensitive skin. It'll give you real beautiful skin by the time you're over with. It'll, you name it, right? All of those upsells are ways that you can continue to stimulate and improve your long-term customer value. So one of the best ways that you can also do it is you can ask. Just ask for that referral to increase that lifetime value, okay? And there's a quick script that was here that I think I want to share with you guys, and it's just similar to this, right? So Mr. Customer, it's been a pleasure working with you. If you know anyone who is in a similar situation, we'd love to give them a gift card which entitles them to $100 off their first consultation with us. And one of the reasons we're able to keep the cost of our service down, service, product, is because we get a lot of business through referrals from people like you. How many people use this in their business? Give me one or two. Has anybody tried this in doing so? I think it's a fantastic way to be doing stuff, right? Asking for that referral. And in doing it like this way, we're not just asking them for a favor. We're offering them something valuable that they can give to someone in their network. Therefore, we're giving them a reason to give us a referral. So in this final phase, right, we're talking about creating raving fans, fans who love our products and services so much that they can't help but tell others. And it's about going above and beyond to keep the relationship alive, thriving, and turning it into mutually satisfying, where it works really well. So really think about how you can apply some of these strategies, how you can wow your customers. Yeah, the referral, that's I can definitely include a portion of that script. Thank you. And actually, I have to be totally transparent. It's actually in the book. So this is my, in quotes, book report, but I thought it was so good I needed to keep doing this. Okay, so let's kind of go through some clear and actionable steps on this, right? A, attracting attention. Who am I targeting and what do they truly need? Where do these customers spend their time? How do I reach them? What are their pain points? What are their priorities? Here's something to consider, right? Your local cafe, right? You said you're a coffee place, right? You could set up a stand at a local book fair, at the farmer's market, and bring in additional people to you. It's an investment of a little bit of time, but rather than being just in your brick and mortar area, you could be somewhere else. That's where pop-up restaurants in New York City became so popular because, oh, this is this chef doing this type of food. This is great. And so people getting that message out for folks. So in phase two, what methods are you going to use to capture your leads? What type of a system? And then ask yourself about how you're going to turn those leads into your paying customers. What are you going to use to measure lead to customer conversion? Are you going to say clicks? Are you going to say, oh, they just bought? How close are they? How do they interact with you? And then how are you going to maximize that customer value? Okay. How are you going to encourage the repeat customers? How are you going to wow them? This marketing plan, I hope I've kind of highlighted this. Your marketing plan is your compass. It's going to steer your decisions about your growth and aligning them with your business goals. So we've talked about a lot of the good things. Let's talk about some of the bad things. There's pitfalls in all of this, okay? Making this overly complicated. It's so easy to get lost in the details. You'll end up with a plan that's way too complex to execute. What the one-page marketing plan does is it helps you keep it concise. It helps you focus on what's truly important for your business rather than trying to cover every single possibility and everything that could go wrong or couldn't go wrong. You get stuck in analysis by paralysis. I've been there. I'm sure we all have. Your next step is to understand your audience. If you've got a vague idea of who your market is, who your target market is, it's really ineffective. You've got to invest your time in researching and understanding that audience. And it means digging into their preferences, their behaviors, their pain points. Why do they get up in the morning? What is their why? That's a great book by Simon Sinek. Okay, start with why. It really provides a great foundation. The clearer your customer profile, the more targeted your marketing efforts can be. You also want to be consistent. If you're not consistent in your branding message, in the messaging that you're putting out there, it'll confuse your audience. it'll dilute your brand and what you're standing for. So you want to make sure that every single piece of that marketing that you're putting out there across all the platforms you're using, whether again, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Snap, TikTok, they all provide a unified voice for what your brand stands for and the services and solutions that you provide. The next one I can't highlight enough: test, test, test. Putting something out there one time and going, this should be fine, is another recipe for failure. You want to take a look at what's working and what's not working. So if you try 10 different things and 2 of those 10 work, you want to shut the other 8 down and go directly into those 2 things that work. You want to build your momentum on those things that work. So test and retest. Always be looking for what's resonated with people. And that could be not just impressions, but also interaction. Make sure that people are engaging with you, with your content, and with what you're doing. The final piece is talking about being rigid. So change happens. Change is the only constant that we get to live with in this world. Okay. So your marketing plan should be evolving. You should be prepared to pivot. You should be taking advantage of or tracking trends or technologies or changes in customer needs. Think about how far ahead that Elon Musk was with Tesla. People talking about electric cars 10 years ago to now, they are, I believe, 3 to 5% of the market, with all the major auto manufacturers working on them. So this is, again, don't be rigid in what you're doing. Be willing to step back and move around, right? See what's working. Okay, so I'm going to step back a little bit. We covered a lot of ground. Okay, so here's a slide that's going to help with some of that summary. Okay, let's kind of take it through the start to finish. Okay, it all begins with capturing those leads. That first contact where your prospective client shows some interest. We want to pique their curiosity. We want to gather a database of potential customers. And then we progress into tactics and to convert those sales. But the engagement doesn't end with that first sale. We continue to focus on nurturing those relationships. We want to encourage those customers to explore additional products or services. Upselling is not just about increasing revenue, it's about enhancing the customer experience by providing value that exceeds expectations. And then the back end, right? That's where you get amplified. You start to get referrals. Your customers feel heard, and that translates into a higher number of revenue. The life cycle itself is the natural progression of how your brand grows, how your business grows. Remember, by delivering exceptional value, you get to retain your customers and turn them into a powerful referral engine. So we got a question. Do I have recommendations for websites or platforms where we can customer lead, keep like info? So yep, I'm going to get into tools in just a moment. So right now, as a matter of fact. So tools and resources. This is just a suggestion. There are many of these tools. This is what a marketing technologist would refer to as a marketing technology stack. Those series of pieces of software that help you automate your business, that help you track what's going on. And here's a couple of them. In the attracting phase, it's like you're the architect designing for that blueprint. You want some search engine optimization tools. So there is a tool called SEMrush. There's another one called Ahrefs, and that's Ahrefs. They are helped to measure what's going on. You can also use Neil Patel has a good tool that does stuff. And there's even, a website review tool called Lightspeed that Google provides free of charge in all of their Chrome browsers. Just hit that F12 button and you'll get a Lightspeed that comes up on the side that'll tell you what that website is that you're on. It can test it. It'll give you where you are as far as some of the statistics. But I digress. That brings out the geek in me. Sorry. Okay. So in phase two, right, turning those prospects into customers, this is where you've got your bricks, your foundation. You want to use a CRM system, like HubSpot is one of them. Pipedrive. HubSpot has a starter package. Pipedrive, I believe, has a starter package. Or you could even just use a spreadsheet. Okay. That just use something to track what's going on. Okay. The HubSpots and the Pipedrives allow you to do some integrations with your websites. So if you're doing a lead magnet, so for example, if you've put out the 10 best coffee shops in my town and why, and people pull that down, they capture that, and now you can have that information sent directly to your CRM. There's an integration that's there for that. Okay, but you want to make sure that no opportunity slips through the cracks. You want to keep yourself top of mind by creating campaigns that work with it. So now, the world-class experience level, right? You want to make sure your customers are happy and satisfied. How many people get those surveys? How was your Amazon package delivery? Did you like your product? We get them constantly, but they are the lifeblood of a business, aren't they? We might not respond to all of them. And I think I would respond to more if they said, I'll give you an opportunity for a $50 gift certificate if you complete 5 of these. Okay, I'm in. So that becomes an offer to keep me as a happy customer, as somebody who will sing their praises as they're going through. So from that perspective, you can use something like SurveyMonkey. You can use Net Promoter Score or things of that nature, and trying to keep that going there. And I'm coming close to running out of time. So let me move forward a little bit faster. For additional resources, of course, please check out SuccessWise. And Tony, thank you for putting in the SuccessWise website. Appreciate that. HubSpot's blog is a fantastic library. It's filled with up-to-date marketing materials and articles and how-tos. And it doesn't just push use HubSpot for this. It really talks about generic stuff. The other thing to go and research is Grow with Google. Grow, G-R-O-W, .Google, period. Check that out. There are so many different free classes that you can take, many of them on small businesses, some in data analytics, some how to use Google Analytics or Google Search Console. Those are all great things. And if you want to do something really generic, I don't know how many people have heard of Seth Godin, one of the fathers of marketing and marketing. I think he's written 17 or 18 some odd books, but definitely check him out. He's got a blog that he writes. He's been writing every day for, I believe it's 13 years. Some very interesting tidbits, some stuff that makes you go, that's an interesting perspective on how things are done. So definitely, keep learning. So, I'll give you kind of a summary of some of the stuff we've talked about. Okay. Simplification, right? At the heart of everything, the one-page marketing plan it's simple. It cuts through that clutter and chaos that many traditional marketing plans have. That it helps you with that goal to distill your strategy into a single focus page. And that approach saves time, and it makes it easier to execute and to track. Make sure you understand your audience. That's crucial. The effectiveness of your marketing campaign hinges on how well you know your target audience, right? It's about the deep dive into their needs, their preferences, their behaviors. Those help you tailor your marketing efforts. So then you want to be consistent in your branding and your messaging, and be flexible in your strategy. Don't be rigid. Don't be, I've got to do this and this because this is the way I've always done this. Okay. And then use your data. So as you're collecting this information, see what's working and what's not working and adjust. But always use your data to refine your tactics. So if you want to dig deeper, I can definitely help with managing some of this stuff for you. We can help you get started. I'll be glad to do a 15-minute consultation. My contact information will be included. And I'd like to start with strategy first. So this, to me, having this as a great webinar is where I like to lead. Where you want to go, what do you want to do, who do you want to talk to? So please feel free to reach out. Happy to answer any questions now, as long as we've got time, or afterwards. Okay. We can hit into the Q&A, but also, as I mentioned, as part of my slide deck that you'll get, there are previous webinars that we've done in the past around all of this information. So be happy to talk about any of that stuff with you. So on that, Tony, let's go back to some of our questions.
Okay, we do have a question already in the chat. It's from Denise. I want to build some nurturing sequences, marketing, emails, calls, etc. Are there some starter sequences to build from?
So there's probably some out there. I don't know of the exact templates that people have. Technically, I try to build some of these in a very personal way, right? Because the message you want to send is slightly different from the message somebody else wants to send. But a basic sequence can be, okay, you've downloaded a article from us, you've downloaded a post, you've interacted with it. Are you feeling this type of pain from your service? All right, start to engage the conversation in order to have them come back and say, yeah, what you're saying resonates with me. So you can do samples that way, but definitely take it with a grain of salt. There's this really great search tool. We've all heard about it. It's called Google. And you can start looking for samples that way. The other thing for people who are more looking for an advanced way of doing it is you could start using AI to create some of that stuff. So Google's got Bard. Microsoft has Copilot and Bing, what they're doing. You've got ChatGPT. There's perplexity.ai. There's a number of different tools that you could use in order to kind of set yourself up for success. But there are some things that you want to do to set them up appropriately.
We have another question. Are these lessons on the SCORE website? They are. The previous we record all of these webinars, and they are on our YouTube channel, which is at SCORE Mentors. And we also put them on our website, which is score.org/SoutheastNJ. There was another question. Expanding, let me see. Any tips you can give to life coaches trying to help people overcome their barriers to success?
Give that one to me again, Tony. I'm sorry.
Any tips you can give to life coaches trying to help people overcome their barriers to success? I think story, I was a coach in a former life, so stories are the best way to the best way to show people what can happen, and also testimonials from people that you have coached. I think those are the best way to try to help people overcome.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree. The other aspect of that is, that I find the biggest challenge for a coach is that some people just aren't ready. And you might want to lean into how people are feeling and what led them to make the decision to engage a coach, whether it was a life event, whether it was something that they just felt overwhelmed with or something of that nature. Those would probably be good stories to tell in order to get that engagement, so that people are going, yep, yes, that resonates with me. I agree.
Okay, another one. Expanding on the e-commerce women's boutique, what type of ad leads would you suggest to create brand awareness on Instagram and Facebook?
That's a really specific question that really needs to be done in a more one-to-one session, because we really need to talk about how you're approaching your target market, what your messaging is, and how you're planning on doing things. It's really I could give you a generic answer of trying to do this or trying to do that. Unfortunately, it goes against my perspective of thinking in terms of strategy, thinking in terms of the big picture, because an ad is just a tactic. And if you don't have your strategy in place, the tactic may not be the appropriate one. So I hope that helps.